Stop. Stop reacting. Look at your life right now. You wake up and you react to the alarm. You check your phone and you react to the news. You see a bill and you react with anxiety. You see a flashing buy button and you react with impulse. You are not living. You are twitching. You are a slave to your circumstances, and worse, you are a slave to your own emotions. And as long as you are reacting, you will never be wealthy. Make your first real decision of the day right now. Hit that subscribe button. Do not do it for me. Do it to signal to your own brain that you are done with mediocrity. Join this channel and join the minority obsessed with self-mastery. Click it. Commit to the process. Good. Now listen closely. What follows is not just an audiobook. It is not motivation. Motivation is garbage. It burns out in an hour. This is a rewiring. This is from reaction to action. I am going to give you a ruthless 5-step plan to seize full control of your state of mind and, with it, your finances. We will delete the fear. We will delete the greed. But I have a warning. You must listen to this audio until the very last second. Why? Because the information alone is not enough. At the very end of this track, I have hidden the architect's protocol. It is a specific 1-minute instruction set that you must execute immediately after the audio stops. If you leave early, you will know, but you will lack the key to turn it on. Do not be like the 99% who quit halfway. Be the 1%. Stay to the end. Get the protocol. Before we begin, a mandatory notice. The content in this audiobook is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It reflects a specific philosophy on wealth psychology, not direct financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor. The ideas presented here are principles for developing a mindset. All investment carries risk, and you are solely responsible for your own decisions. Always consult with a certified professional before making any financial moves. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Poverty of Reaction. Look around you. What do you see? You see busy people. You see people who are stressed. You see people working harder than ever before, yet they are standing still. They are running on a treadmill that is set to a speed just slightly faster than they can handle. They are exhausted, and in terms of real wealth, they are poor. Why? Is it because the economy is broken? Is it because their boss hates them? Is it because of bad luck? Number. They are infected with a sickness. They are suffering from the poverty of reaction. Most people, 99% of the population, live their entire lives in a state of biological and financial reaction. Something happens to them, and they respond. A bill comes in, panic, the stock market drops, sell. A commercial plays on TV, buy, they feel sad, retail therapy, they feel happy, celebration dinner, stimulus, response, stimulus, response. They are not human beings exercising free will. They are biological machines pushing buttons. They are Pavlov's dogs, salivating at the sound of a bell. Only the bell is a notification on their phone, and the saliva is the money leaving their bank account. If you are living in a state of reaction, you have already lost. You cannot build a skyscraper if you are constantly reacting to the weather, and you cannot build wealth if you are constantly reacting to your mood. The thesis of this chapter is simple, and it is brutal. You are poor because you react. Let's define reactionary finance. Reactionary finance is the default operating system of the modern consumer. It is the belief, conscious or unconscious, that your money is a tool to manage your emotions. You use money to soothe pain. You use money to heighten joy. You use money to signal status to people you don't even like. When you operate this way, you are handing the keys to your financial future over to your most volatile, unreliable asset, your feelings. And here is the first truth you must burn into your mind. The market does not reward your feelings. It rewards your actions. Let's look at a case study. Let's look at the difference between the reactor and the actor. Imagine two people. Let's call them Employee A and Employee B. They work at the same company. They earn the same salary. They are the same age. It is Friday afternoon. The boss walks in and hands them both a surprise bonus check for $5,000. Watch what happens next. Watch the gap between poverty and mastery open up in real time. Employee A is the reactor. He looks at the check. Immediately, a chemical reaction occurs in his brain. Dopamine floods his system. He feels excitement. He feels relief. He feels deserving. He thinks, I worked so hard for this. I survived the late nights. I survived the stress. I deserve to enjoy this. This is the lie. This is the trap. Because he feels he deserves a reward, he reacts. He goes home and books a $3,000 vacation. He buys a new television for $1,000. He takes his friends out for dinner, which costs $500. By Monday morning, the money is gone. What does he have to show for it? He has memories. He has a tan. He has a slightly larger screen for consuming content. But financially, he is exactly where he was on Thursday. He is at zero. He reacted to the stimulus of money by getting rid of it. He remains a slave to his job because he has built no safety net. Now look at Employee B. Employee B is the actor. She looks at the check. She sees $5,000. Does she feel excitement? Maybe, but she does not let that feeling enter the driver's seat. She pauses. She recognizes the impulse to spend, and she kills it. She does not say, I deserve a treat. She says, I deserve freedom. She takes the $5,000 and immediately transfers it to her brokerage account. She buys an index fund or adds to her real estate down payment fund. The money is debited from her checking account instantly. She doesn't buy dinner. She doesn't buy a TV. By Monday morning, her life looks the same as it did on Thursday. She wears the same clothes. She drives the same car. But there is a difference. She is $5,000 closer to never having to work again. Her money is now an employee who will work for her for the rest of her life. Employee A reacted to the cash. Employee B acted on her plan. 10 years later, Employee A is still stressed, still waiting for the next bonus, still blaming the economy. Employee B is free. The difference wasn't the income, it wasn't luck, it was the rejection of the impulse. The market does not reward your feelings, it rewards your actions. You have a choice. Every single day, you have a choice. When you open your banking app, are you looking for validation or are you looking for data? When the market crashes and your portfolio drops by 20%, do you react with fear and sell? Or do you act with logic and buy more while it is on sale? The reactor sells because the pain of loss hurts his feelings. He wants the pain to stop, so he sells the asset. He solidifies his loss. He pays a fear tax. The actor looks at the red numbers and feels nothing. He sees a discount. He buys. This is the discipline we are going to build. You must understand that the entire world is engineered to make you react. Marketing algorithms are designed to trigger your insecurities so you buy things to fix them. News cycles are designed to trigger your anxiety so you stay glued to the screen. Social media is designed to trigger your envy so you spend money to keep up. If you do not have a plan, if you do not have a constitution, you are walking into a battlefield without armor. You will be slaughtered, and you will be broke. Stop telling yourself that you are bad with money. That is a lazy excuse. You are not bad with money. You are addicted to reaction. You are addicted to the emotional release that comes from spending. You are addicted to the emotional release of complaining. It's not about your flaws. It's about your discipline. You have to decide right now what you want. Do you want to feel rich, or do you want to be rich? Because you usually cannot have both at the same time. Spending money makes you feel rich in the moment, but it makes you poor in reality. Saving and investing money often feels boring. It feels like nothing, but it makes you wealthy in reality. The reactor chases the feeling. The actor chases the result. The market does not reward your feelings. It rewards your actions. You are poor because you react. We will make you act. So how do we break this cycle? How do we stop being Pavlov's dog? We stop trusting our gut. In finance, your gut is an idiot. Your gut evolved to run away from lions and eat as much sugar as possible because winter is coming. Your gut did not evolve to manage a 401k or navigate a recession. When you say, "I have a bad feeling about the market," that is your biological programming firing a false alarm. When you say, "I just need to treat myself," that is your biological programming seeking a dopamine hit. You must learn to decouple the event from the response. Between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space is your power to choose. The reactor shrinks that space to zero. The actor widens that space. The actor pauses. The actor consults the plan. The actor executes. This book is about widening that space. It is about moving you from a biological twitch to a strategic strike. We are going to dismantle the emotional machinery that keeps you broke. We are going to stop you from being a slave to your circumstances. But before we can build the system, before we can give you the tactical steps, the accounts, and the percentages, we have to confront the enemy head-on. We have identified that reaction is the problem. But what drives the reaction? What is the fuel that powers this poverty? It is 3 specific emotions. 3 liars that live in your head and whisper bad advice every time you open your wallet. These emotions are likely protecting you. You think they are keeping you safe. They are not. They are the reason you are stuck. You mastered the first lesson. Reaction is poverty. Action is wealth. Now we must go to war with the things that make you react. We are going to strip them naked and expose them for what they are. Chapter 2. Your emotions are financial liabilities. If you hired a financial advisor and you asked him, "Why should we invest in this company?" and he replied, "I don't know, I just feel scared right now," you would fire him immediately. You would fire him because he is incompetent. You would fire him because he is letting his internal state dictate his external strategy. And yet this is exactly what you do to yourself every single day. You are your own worst financial advisor. You are the incompetent manager of your own life. You listen to voices in your head that have no training, no discipline, and no foresight. You think your emotions are signals. You think your gut is trying to tell you something important. Let me be clear. Your feelings are not your friends. They are liabilities on your balance sheet. In accounting, a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. A debt, a loan, an obligation. In your mind, your emotions function the same way. They tax your judgment. They bankrupt your potential. They rob you of the future. Control your state, or your state will control your finances. To master this, we need to identify the 3 specific liabilities that are destroying your wealth. These are the 3 horsemen of financial ruin: fear, greed, and comfort. Let's strip them down. Liability number 1, fear. Fear is the most expensive emotion you possess. Fear tells you to sell when the market crashes. Fear tells you to keep your money in a savings account earning 0.01% because the stock market looks risky. Fear tells you that investing in yourself is too dangerous. Here is the truth about fear in the modern world. It is a liar. Biologically, fear is designed to keep you from being eaten by a tiger. It is a survival mechanism for a world that no longer exists. In finance, fear masquerades as caution. You tell yourself you are being prudent. You are not being prudent. You are being paralyzed. When you keep all your money in cash because you are afraid of the market, you are not safe. You are slowly bleeding to death by inflation. You are guaranteeing a loss of purchasing power. When you sell your assets because the news is bad, you are locking in a loss. The actor understands that fear is simply a biological reaction to uncertainty. The actor feels the fear and invests anyway. The actor knows that the best time to buy is when everyone else is terrified. If you wait until you are not afraid, you will wait forever. And while you wait, the opportunity passes. Liability number 2, greed. If fear keeps you poor, greed makes you stupid. Greed is not ambition. Do not confuse the two. Ambition is the desire to build value over the course of a decade. Greed is the desire to extract value in a minute. Greed is the voice that tells you to buy that speculative crypto coin because your cousin doubled his money on it. Greed is the voice that chases the hot stock after it has already gone up 300%. Greed is FOMO, the fear of missing out. When you act out of greed, you are not investing. You are gambling. You are reacting to a fantasy. The greedy person does not look at the fundamentals. They do not look at the system. They look at the result they want, easy money, and they ignore the reality of the risk. Greed is the reason people get scammed. Greed is the reason people buy at the top of the market right before the crash. Greed blinds you. It turns off your critical thinking and turns on your impulse control. Your feelings are not your friends. They are liabilities on your balance sheet. Liability number 3, comfort. This is the most dangerous liability of all. Fear is loud. Greed is loud. Comfort is silent. Comfort is the warm bath that you fall asleep in, and then you drown. Comfort is the steady job that pays you just enough to survive, but not enough to thrive. Comfort is the routine that never challenges you. Comfort is the voice that says, "I'm doing okay. I don't need to push harder. I don't need to learn that new skill. I don't need to start that side business." Comfort is the enemy of growth. Wealth requires tension. Wealth requires expansion. If you are comfortable, you are stagnant. And in nature, if you are stagnant, you are dying. The reactor loves comfort. The reactor will spend money to buy a nicer car, a softer couch, and a bigger TV to numb the reality that they are not progressing. The actor rejects comfort. The actor seeks challenge. Control your state, or your state will control your finances. So how do we deal with these liabilities? We cannot surgically remove the part of your brain that feels fear or greed. You are human. You will always feel them. The goal is not to stop feeling them. The goal is to stop listening to them. You must treat your emotions like spam email. When you get a spam email promising you millions of dollars, do you reply? Do you engage with it? Do you stress about it? No. You recognize it as noise. You delete it. You move on. You must do the same with your internal state. When fear screams, "Sell," you label it. This is fear. This is a liability. And you delete it. When greed screams, "Buy," you label it. This is greed. This is a liability. And you delete it. When comfort whispers, "Relax," you label it. This is comfort. This is death. And you get to work. You have a choice. You can be a slave to your biology, or you can be the master of your destiny. Most people spend their lives servicing these liabilities. They pay the interest on their fear and their greed every single day. It's not about your flaws. It's about your discipline. Stop trusting your gut. Start trusting your logic. Your gut wants a cookie. Your logic wants a legacy. Your gut wants safety. Your logic wants freedom. If you cannot separate your money from your emotions, you will never be wealthy. You will be a rich victim at best and a broke victim at worst. Your feelings are not your friends. They are liabilities on your balance sheet. Control your state, or your state will control your finances. We have defined the problem. You react. We have identified the enemy. It is your own emotional instability. Now is the time to stop analyzing the problem and start engineering the solution. We need to build a mechanism that protects you from yourself. We need a set of rules that override your fear, kill your greed, and destroy your comfort. We need a document that holds more power than your feelings. You are going to write that document. You are going to stop listening and start writing. This is the first step of the actor. This is where you draw the line in the sand. Chapter 3. Step 1. Forge your financial constitution. Stop listening. Look at me. If I asked you right now, what are your absolute, unbreakable laws for money? What would you say? Do not tell me I try to save. Do not tell me I try not to spend too much. Trying is failure with a polite face. Trying is an excuse waiting to happen. If you do not have a set of written, irrevocable laws that govern your financial life, you do not have a strategy. You have a wish, and the market does not care about your wishes. A country without a constitution is a failed state. Warlords and chaos rule it. A life without a constitution is a failed life. Impulses and emotions rule it. You have spent your life making financial decisions in the moment. You see the shoes, you decide in the moment. You see the car, you decide in the moment. You see the market drop, you decide in the moment. The moment is where you are weakest. The moment is where fear, greed, and comfort live. If you wait until the moment to decide what to do, you will lose every single time. To win, you must decide before the moment arrives. This is step 1. This is the foundation. You must forge your financial constitution. What is a financial constitution? It is not a budget. A budget is a spreadsheet that you ignore after 3 days. A constitution is a supreme law. It is a short physical document that defines the boundaries of your behavior. It overrides your feelings. It overrides your circumstances. It overrides your excuses. When the Supreme Court considers a case, it does not ask, "How do we feel today?" They ask, "What does the Constitution say?" You must become the Supreme Court of your own life. A person without a constitution is a slave to circumstance. Your constitution is your shield against emotion. This is step 1. This is action. You are going to write this document, not in your head, on paper, ink on page, real, permanent. It does not need to be long. In fact, it should be short. 5 to 10 unbreakable articles. Let me give you the blueprint. Here are examples of what a strong financial constitution looks like. Article 1. The law of solidity. I will never, under any circumstance, use consumer debt to purchase a liability. If I cannot buy it with cash, I cannot afford it. This rule is binary. It kills the reaction of swiping a credit card for clothes, gadgets, or vacations. It doesn't matter if you want it. The Constitution forbids it. End of discussion. Article 2, the law of payment. I will pay myself first. 20% of every dollar I earn leaves my account and goes into investments before I pay a single bill, buy a single meal, or spend a single cent. Note the language. It is not, I will try to save what is left. It is, I will pay myself first. This prioritizes your future over your present. Article 3, the law of the lag. I will enforce a 24-hour waiting period on any purchase over $100 that is not a survival necessity. This is the specific antidote to the reactionary spending. We talked about in Chapter 1, you create a mandatory pause. You kill the dopamine. Article 4, the law of ignorance. I will never sell an asset based on a news headline. I will only sell based on my predetermined financial goals. This protects you from the liability of fear. These are not suggestions. These are chains. And you need chains. You need to chain the beast of your emotions so that the rational architect inside you can build. It's not about your flaws. It's about your discipline. Why does this work? It works because it removes willpower from the equation. Willpower is a battery. It runs out. You have willpower at 9 a.m. You do not have willpower at 9 p.m. when you are tired, hungry, and stressed. If you rely on willpower to save money, you will fail. The Constitution does not require willpower, it requires obedience. When you are tempted to break a rule, you don't have to debate with yourself. You don't have to negotiate. You simply look at the document. Can I buy this? The Constitution says no. The decision is made. The stress is gone. You must understand, you are a terrible negotiator when you are negotiating with yourself. You will always let yourself off the hook. You will always justify the bad behavior just this once. I had a hard week. I'll make up for it next month. The Constitution does not negotiate. The Constitution does not care if you had a hard week. It demands compliance. A person without a constitution is a slave to circumstance. Your constitution is your shield against emotion. Here is your instruction. Pause this audiobook, or commit to doing this the second it ends. Take a piece of paper. Write My Financial Constitution at the top. Write down 5 rules. Make them simple. Make them harsh. Make them clear. How much do you invest? When do you buy? When do you sell? What do you never do? Sign it. Date it. Tape it to your mirror. Tape it to your credit card. Set it as your phone's wallpaper. This document is your new boss. You do not answer to your feelings anymore. You answer to the Constitution. Some of you are resisting this. I can hear the objections. This feels too rigid. This feels restrictive. I want to be free. You are confused. Discipline is freedom. The person who has no rules is not free. They are a slave to their impulses. They are a leaf blowing in the wind. The person with the Constitution is free. They are free from debt. They are free from panic. They are free from the rat race. You have to choose your pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The pain of following the rules or the pain of being broke. You have a choice. Once you have this Constitution, you have taken the first step from reaction to action. You have created a framework. But a framework is useless if the person operating it is still thinking like a victim. We have upgraded your laws. Now we must upgrade your identity. We need to change how you view your place in the economic food chain. Right now, you are food. You are being eaten by companies, by marketers, by the system. To survive and to get rich, you must stop being the prey. You must become the predator. You must stop consuming. You must start producing. A person without a constitution is a slave to circumstance. Your constitution is your shield against emotion. This is step 1. This is action. You have your laws. Now let's define your role. Are you a battery for someone else's machine, or are you the one building the engine? Chapter 4. Step 2. The producer's mindset versus the consumer's sickness. There is a divide in the human race. It is not black or white. It is not rich or poor. It is not east or west. The divide is between the consumer and the producer. You are on one side of this line. And if you are like 99% of the population, you are on the wrong side. You are infected with the consumer sickness. What is this sickness? It is the default setting of the modern world. It is a passive existence. The consumer wakes up and immediately checks their phone, consuming other people's content. The consumer goes to work and waits to be told what to do, consuming instructions. The consumer gets paid and immediately looks for something to purchase, consuming goods. The consumer goes home, turns on the streaming service, and zones out, consuming entertainment. The consumer is a black hole. Value goes in and nothing comes out. The consumer thinks that the solution to every problem is a purchase. Feeling sad? Buy a drink. Feeling bored? Buy a movie. Feeling insecure? Buy a brand name. Here is the brutal economic reality. Money flows from consumers to producers. It is a law of nature, like gravity. Water flows downhill, money flows to value creators. If you are perpetually consuming, you are perpetually bleeding wealth. You are the prey. You are the livestock the producers farm for profit. You must flip the switch. You must cross the line. This is step 2 of your transformation. Adopt the producer's mindset. The consumer asks, "What can I buy?" The producer asks, "What can I build?" Let's analyze this shift. The producer looks at the world and sees raw materials. The producer sees problems as opportunities to create solutions, not reasons to complain or spend. When a consumer sees a recession, they ask, "How will I survive?" They shrink. They consume fear. When a producer sees a recession, they ask, "What new value does the market need right now?" They expand. They build solutions. This is not just about starting a business. This applies to every single aspect of your life, including your 9-to-5 job. Most employees are consumers. They think of their job as a place where they go to get money. They show up, they do the bare minimum, and they wait for the paycheck. They are extracting value from the company. The producer employee thinks differently. They do not go to work to get. They go to work to provide. They ask how. How can I build a system that makes this company more money? How can I produce more efficiency? Guess who gets the promotion? Guess who gets the raise? Guess who gets the bonus? The producer. Stop consuming. Start producing. You have to understand that consuming is a reaction. Producing is an action. When you scroll through social media for 2 hours, you are reacting to an algorithm designed to steal your attention. You are the product. When you create a piece of content or write code or fix a house or invest capital, you are acting. You are the architect. The consumer asks, "What can I buy?" The producer asks, "What can I build?" Let's look at your finances through this lens. The consumer looks at money as a voucher for pleasure. I have $100. What can this get me? The producer looks at money as a seed. I have $100. What can this grow into? The consumer buys the golden eggs, the producer buys the goose. It is a cliche because it is true, and you are killing the goose every single month to buy shoes you don't need to impress people who don't care. This sickness runs deep. It affects how you view your own identity. Consumers define themselves by what they own. I am a BMW driver. I am a Gucci wearer. They wear other people's names on their chests because they haven't built a name for themselves. Producers define themselves by what they create. I am a writer. I am an investor. I am a founder. It's not about your flaws, it's about your discipline. You must audit your life. Right now, look at your bank statement from last month. Go line by line. How many of those transactions were investments in a future asset? And how many were simply you reacting to an impulse to consume? Look at your calendar. How many hours did you spend building a skill, building a side hustle, or building your body? And how many hours did you spend watching other people live their lives on a screen? The ratio of production to consumption is the single best predictor of your future net worth. If you consume 90% of the time and produce 10% of the time, you will be broke. If you flip that ratio, you will be unstoppable. The consumer asks, "What can I buy?" The producer asks, "What can I build?" Stop consuming. Start producing. So how do we break the sickness? We starve it. You need to go on a consumption fast. Stop watching the news. Stop scrolling the feed. Stop browsing the online store. Bore yourself to death. Because when you are bored and you cannot consume, you are forced to produce. When you remove the pacifier of cheap entertainment, your brain wakes up. You start having ideas. You start wanting to do something. Turn that energy into assets. Don't just read a book, consumption. Take notes and apply it, production. Don't just watch a tutorial, consumption. Build the project, production. Don't just earn $1, consumption potential. Invest the dollar, production of wealth. You have a choice. You can continue to be a battery for the matrix, feeding your energy and money into the system until you are drained and discarded, or you can become the builder of your own reality. The producer is the highest form of the actor. The producer acts upon the world. The consumer lets the world act upon them. The consumer asks, "What can I buy?" The producer asks, "What can I build?" This is a mental shift, but it requires a physical mechanism to sustain it. You have your constitution, step 1. That is the law. You have the producer mindset, step 2. That is the philosophy. Now you need the machine. You cannot rely on waking up every day and deciding to be a producer. You will get tired. You will slip. The consumer sickness is always waiting to creep back in. So we are going to remove the decision entirely. We are going to build a financial machine that acts like a producer automatically. Even while you sleep, we are going to automate your ascent to wealth so that you cannot screw it up. You don't need more willpower, you need a system. Chapter 5. Step 3. Engineer the system that makes you inevitable. I want you to admit something. You are the weak link in your own life. You can write the financial constitution. You can adopt the producer's mindset. You can get all fired up and motivated by this audiobook. But on a rainy Tuesday in November, when you are tired, stressed, and emotional, you will fail. You will forget to transfer the money to your savings. You will see the extra cash in your checking account and spend it. You will hesitate to click buy on your investment app because the news is bad. You are human, and humans are terrible at consistency. We are emotional, erratic, and unreliable. If your plan relies on you making the right decision every single month for 30 years, it's doomed. So, we are going to fire you. We are going to remove you from the equation. We are going to take the choice out of your hands. This is step 3. Engineer the system that makes you inevitable. What does inevitable mean? It means the outcome is guaranteed. It means the result happens regardless of how you feel, the weather, or what the stock market is doing. Gravity is inevitable. The sun rising is inevitable. Your wealth must become inevitable. How do we do this? We stop relying on discipline and we start relying on automation. Discipline is manual labor. Automation is a machine. Discipline requires energy. Automation requires setup. Once the machine is running, it does not get tired. It does not get scared. It does not get greedy. It just executes. Your feelings will fail you. Your motivation will fail you. A system will not. Build the system, and the system will build your wealth. Here is the blueprint for the machine. It is a closed loop. It has 4 parts. Part 1, the source. This is your income, your salary, your side hustle, your business revenue. Most people have their income deposited into their checking account, then stare at a big pile of money. They feel rich. They start spending. This is wrong. You must treat your checking account as a pass-through entity. It is a hallway, not a living room. Money should not stay there. Part 2, the extraction, the pay yourself first protocol. This is the most critical step. You must set up an automatic transfer that hits the very same day you get paid, not the next day, the same day. If you get paid on the 1st, the transfer happens on the 1st. This transfer takes the percentage defined in your constitution. Step 1, let's say 20%, and moves it immediately to your investment accounts. It goes to your 401k, it goes to your Roth IRA, it goes to your brokerage account. And crucially, it automatically invests. Do not just transfer cash and leave it. Set up your brokerage to automatically buy the index funds or assets you have chosen. You never see this money. You never touch this money. You never have to decide this money. It is gone. It is working for you. It is producing. Part 3, the sustenance, fixed costs. The next automatic transfer covers your fixed costs. Rent, mortgage, utilities, insurance. Set all of these to auto pay. Never write a check. Never log in to pay a bill manually. Manual payments are prone to errors and late fees. Manual payments are opportunities for you to look at the money and feel pain. Automate the pain away. Part 4, the remainder, guilt-free spending. What is left in your checking account after the extraction and the sustenance is yours. This is the only money you are allowed to react to. If you want to buy shoes, use this money. If you want to eat out, use this money. But here is the beauty of the system. You cannot overspend because the investment money is already gone. You cannot steal from your future because the system has already secured it. This creates artificial scarcity. You might look at your account and say, I only have $500 left for the month. That's not enough. Good. Now you have a problem. The producer, step 2, will find a solution. You will cut costs. You will earn more. You will adapt to the scarcity. If you had left that extra money in the account, you would have spent it on nonsense. By removing it, you force yourself to be efficient. Your feelings will fail you. Your motivation will fail you. A system will not. I hear the excuses coming, but I don't know how much my electric bill will be. But what if an emergency happens? This is fear talking. This is the reactor trying to sabotage the architect. You leave a buffer in the checking account for variable bills. You have an emergency fund, which you also built automatically. These are solvable logistical problems, not reasons to stay poor. The vast majority of people do the equation backward. They do. Income minus expenses equals investment. They spend first and save what is left. There is never anything left. The system forces you to do. Income minus investment equals expenses. You save first and spend what is left. That's the key. You prioritize yourself over the world. When you automate your finances, you are essentially taxing yourself. Governments are rich because they take their money automatically before you even see your paycheck. You must become the government of your own life. Tax yourself, seize the funds, deploy them into assets. It's not about your flaws. It's about your discipline. Actually, this chapter is about killing the need for discipline. The person who has to use willpower 10 times a month to save money will eventually break. The person who set up an automatic transfer 5 years ago and forgot about it will wake up rich. Think about the psychological relief this brings. You don't have to worry about the market. The system buys every month, whether the market is up or down. We call this dollar cost averaging. You don't have to feel guilty about spending the money in your remainder pile because you know your duties are already done. You are free. Your feelings will fail you. Your motivation will fail you. A system will not. Build the system, and the system will build your wealth. Your task for this step is technical. Log into your bank. Log into your HR portal. Set up the direct deposit. Set up the auto sweep. Set up the auto invest. Do not leave this chapter until you have automated at least one part of your financial life. If you do this, you make your success inevitable. Time becomes your friend. Every day that passes, the machine adds another brick to your fortress. You can sleep, you can go on vacation, you can get sick. The machine keeps building. But there is a threat. The machine works perfectly in a vacuum. It works perfectly on paper. But the world is not a vacuum. The world is chaotic. The market will crash. Recessions will hit. Your portfolio will show red numbers that make your stomach turn. When the chaos hits, the reactor inside you will scream. He will want to turn off the machine. He will want to sell. He will want to run for safety. You must be ready for this. You must understand that chaos is not a mistake. Chaos is a feature. And for the person with the system, chaos is not a threat. It is a weapon. Chapter 6. Step 4. Weaponize volatility. Picture this scenario. It is a Tuesday morning. You wake up, check the news, and you see panic. The headlines are screaming, market crashes, recession imminent, the end is near. You open your investment app and everything is red. Your portfolio is down 10%, 20%, maybe 30%. Thousands of dollars you worked hard for are seemingly gone. What do? If you are a reactor, you do what the herd does. You feel fear. You feel a knot in your stomach. You tell yourself, I have to stop the bleeding. I have to sell before I lose everything. So you sell. You click the button. In that moment, you have made a fatal error. You have just turned a paper loss into a real loss. You have just destroyed your future to relieve your present pain. If you are an actor, if you are the architect of your life, you do the exact opposite. You look at those red numbers and you smile. You do not feel fear, you feel predatory. Because where the reactor sees a crisis, you see a sale. This is step 4, weaponize volatility. Most people crave stability. They want the market to go up in a nice, straight line forever. That is a fantasy. Markets breathe. Markets fluctuate. Volatility is not a bug in the system. Volatility is the system. If you are afraid of the drop, you have no business being in the game. We need to rewire your brain. You must stop viewing market drops as threats and start viewing them as opportunities. Let's use logic, not emotion. Imagine you walk into your favorite supermarket. You go to the meat counter and you see that your favorite steaks, which usually cost $20, are marked down to $10. They are 50% off. What do? Do you scream in terror? Do you run out of the store yelling, the price of steak has crashed? Do you call your family and tell them to throw out all the meat from the freezer? No. You buy more. You fill your cart. You call your friends to get some. You are happy because you are getting double the value for your money. So why, in God's name, do you do the exact opposite when it comes to your investments? The stock market is the only store in the world where customers run out of the building when the prices go down. It is insanity. It is a reaction in its purest, stupidest form. Chaos is a filter. It destroys the reactor and promotes the actor. You will not fear volatility. You will weaponize volatility. This is where the genius of your system, step 3, comes into play. Remember the automation? Remember the machine you built? When the market crashes, your machine keeps running. Your machine has no emotions. Your machine does not read the news. Your machine simply takes your 20% and buys. And guess what? Because prices are lower, your machine can buy more shares for the same amount of money. When the market is up, you buy expensive items and buy less. When the market is down, you buy cheap and buy more. This is called dollar cost averaging, and it is a mathematical miracle that will make you rich if you simply do nothing. The reactor tries to time the market. He tries to sell at the top and buy at the bottom. Nobody can do this. Not professionals, not algorithms. If you try, you will lose. You will sell in panic at the bottom and buy out of greed at the top. The actor knows that timing the market is a fool's game. The actor plays the game of time in the market. The actor knows that a drop is just a compressed spring. The harder you push it down, the harder it launches upward when the market recovers. And the market always recovers. History tells us one thing over the last 100 years. Every crash, every recession, every war was eventually surpassed by growth. Some of you are saying, but what if it doesn't recover this time? What if the whole system collapses? Listen to me closely. If the entire global financial system collapses and money becomes worthless, it won't matter if your money was in stocks or under your mattress. You will have bigger problems. You will be hunting for food and ammunition. So betting on the end of the world is useless. The only rational bet is a bet on optimism. A bet that humanity will continue to innovate, build, and grow. You have a choice. You can watch the news and be paralyzed by fear. Or you can view your automatic transfers as military supply lines that you are sending to the front, just as the enemy, the market, is retreating. That's the key. So, how do you weaponize volatility in practice? 1. Do not interfere with the system. When the crash comes, your first reaction will be to turn off the auto invest. I'll just wait until things settle down, you will say. This is a lie. This is fear. It is precisely during the chaos that your system is most valuable. Let it run. Let it buy the discount. If you turn it off, you are robbing yourself of the biggest gains of your life. 2. Accelerate the advanced move. If you have extra cash in your remainder pile from Chapter 5 that you don't need now, it's time to deploy it. When there is blood in the streets, you buy. This requires steel nerves. Everyone will tell you that you are crazy. Why are you investing now? Can't you see everything is crashing? You answer them with silence, and 5 years later, you answer them with your net worth. You must build an immunity to headlines. The media sells fear. That is their business model. You click when you are scared. If the news says billions wiped out of the market, translate that into the language of the actor. Assets are currently on a massive sale for those with cash and courage. You do not want a calm sea. A calm sea does not make skilled sailors, nor does it create exponential wealth. You want the storm, because you have a ship that won't sink your system, and you know that after the storm, you will own a bigger piece of the ocean. Chaos is a filter. It destroys the reactor and promotes the actor. You will not fear volatility. You will weaponize volatility. From now on, when you see red numbers, you do not say, "Oh no." You say, "Good." When you see a recession, you do not say, "Threat." You say, "Opportunity." This is the mindset that separates the wealthy from those who just try to look wealthy. Wealthy people love crises, because in a crisis, wealth is transferred from the impatient to the patient, from the hands of reactors to the hands of actors. Now you have the system. You have the mindset. You know how to survive the storm. But how do you know if you are winning? Your feelings will lie to you. They will tell you that you feel poor even when you are getting rich. They will tell you that you feel safe even when you are in danger. We need objective truth. We need data. We need to look at the scoreboard. Because in sports, just like in finance, opinions don't matter. Only the score matters. Chapter 7. Step 5. The scoreboard doesn't lie. Imagine a professional basketball game. The players are running up and down the court. They are sweating. They are exhausted. They feel like they are playing hard. They feel like they are winning. But if they look up at the scoreboard and it says they are down by 30 points, their feelings are irrelevant. The scoreboard is the only truth in the arena. It does not care about your effort. It does not care about your intentions. It only cares about the points you put on the board. Your financial life is a game, and right now, most of you are playing without a scoreboard. You are judging your success by how you feel. I feel like I'm doing okay. I feel like I have enough money. I feel stressed, so I must be broke. This is a delusion. In the world of money, your feelings are not just useless. They are actively misleading. When you spend $500 on a new suit, you feel rich. You look in the mirror and see success. But the scoreboard says you are $500 poorer. When you transfer $500 into an index fund, you might feel poor. That money is gone from your checking account. You can't see it. You can't wear it. But the scoreboard says you are $500 richer. Stop feeling. Start tracking. Your feelings are noise. Your net worth is the signal. Trust the scoreboard, not your emotions. This is step 5. This is the final pillar of the system. You must implement the audit. If you do not measure it, you cannot manage it. If you do not track it, you cannot grow it. The actor does not guess. The actor knows. We are going to institute a mandatory ritual, a non-negotiable appointment with the truth. Once a month, pick a date, the 1st or the 15th, and sit down to look at the scoreboard. What is the scoreboard? It is not your salary. It is not your credit score. It is your net worth statement. The formula is brutally simple. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. That is the number. That is the score. Most people are terrified of this number. They hide from it. They don't want to know the truth because they suspect it's ugly. They have a head-in-the-sand strategy. They think that if they ignore their debt, it will go away. This ends today. You are going to open a spreadsheet. You are going to take a piece of paper. On one side, you list everything you own that has real value: cash, investments, retirement accounts, and real estate equity. Do not include your clothes or your car unless you are selling them tomorrow. They are depreciating junk, not assets. On the other side, you list everything you owe: credit card debt, student loans, car loans, and mortgages. Subtract the bad from the good. That number at the bottom, that is you. Financially speaking, that is your value. It might be negative, it might be zero, it might be small. It doesn't matter where it starts. It matters that you see it. The scoreboard doesn't lie. Why is this ritual so powerful? Because it breaks the spell of consumerism. When you track your net worth, you start to get addicted to seeing the number go up. Suddenly, spending $100 on a dinner doesn't feel like a reward. It feels like a subtraction from your score. Suddenly, paying off $1,000 of debt doesn't feel painful. It feels like a victory. It's points on the board. You rewire your dopamine. The consumer gets dopamine from buying things. The producer gets dopamine from seeing the net worth climb. You have a choice. You can continue to live in the fog of "I think I'm doing okay," or you can step into the clarity of "I know exactly where I stand." I want you to understand the power of trend. A single data point is meaningless. A trend is a prophecy. If your net worth was $10,000 in January, $11,000 in February, and $12,000 in March, you are winning. I don't care if you feel broke. You are winning. The trend is up. If you earn $200,000 a year, but your net worth dropped from $50,000 to $40,000 because you bought a boat, you are losing. You are bleeding. The audit forces you to confront the effectiveness of your system. Step 3. If the number isn't moving, your system is broken. You need to increase the percentages. You need to cut the sustenance costs. The numbers will tell you exactly what to do. They scream the truth that your emotions try to whisper away. It's not about your flaws. It's about your discipline. Here is your instruction for Step 5. Create the document. The scoreboard. Set a recurring calendar reminder, the audit. Do it every single month. No excuses. It takes 10 minutes. If you are married, do it with your spouse. Pour a glass of wine, sit down, and look at the truth together. If the number is bad, let it anger you. Let the anger drive you to produce more. If the number is good, let it fuel you. Let it prove that the sacrifice is working. Stop feeling. Start tracking. There is a silent enemy that will try to stop you from trusting the scoreboard. It is not inside your head. It is outside. It is the people around you. When you start following the Constitution, when you start denying yourself the normal luxuries to feed your system, when you start obsessing over your net worth instead of your Instagram photos, people will notice, and they will not like it. They will see your discipline as an attack on their lack of discipline. They will try to pull you back into the crab bucket. They will use words like cheap, obsessed, boring, and greedy. You need to be prepared for this. You are leaving the herd, and the herd hates nothing more than a defector. You have mastered your internal state. Now you must master your external environment. You must learn to stand alone. Chapter 8. The silent cost of seeking validation. I have a warning for you. As you implement this system and move from reaction to action, something unpleasant will happen. You are going to become unpopular. Your friends, the ones who live paycheck to paycheck, will notice that you are different. They will notice you aren't ordering the second round of drinks. They will notice you aren't upgrading your car every 2 years. They will notice you aren't complaining about money anymore, but you aren't spending it either. And they will attack you, not with fists, but with words. Little passive-aggressive jabs designed to bring you back down to their level. Why are you being so cheap? You only live once. Don't be so boring. Come on, you can afford it. He's obsessed with money now. This is the crab bucket. When one crab tries to climb out of the bucket, the other crabs pull it back down. Not to save it, but because they cannot stand to see it escape. This chapter is about the most expensive addiction in the world. It is not drugs. It is not gambling. It is the addiction to other people's approval. The silent cost of seeking validation is the reason most people stay poor. You buy clothes you don't need to impress people you don't like. You go to dinners you can't afford to maintain an image that isn't real. You take on debt to signal status to the tribe. You are paying a validation tax, and it is bankrupting you. Their comfort is not your responsibility. You are not seeking their validation. You are seeking your mastery. Let them react. You will act. You must understand the psychology of the people around you. When they see you exercising discipline, it reflects on them. It reflects their lack of discipline back at them. It makes them feel insecure. It makes them feel guilty about their own spending. To make that bad feeling go away, they need you to break. They need you to spend money so they can feel normal again. If you give in, if you buy the car, if you take the trip just to fit in, you are paying for their emotional comfort with your financial freedom. That is a terrible trade. You must learn to be the outsider. The producer is always an outsider to the consumers. The architect is always an outsider to the tenants. Wolves do not concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. You have a choice. The broke majority can like you. Or you can be respected by the wealthy minority. You cannot be both. So, how do you handle this? How do you navigate the social pressure without becoming a hermit? Rule number 1, stop explaining yourself. When you say no to a purchase or an event, do not offer an excuse. Do not say, "I can't come because I'm trying to save money for my index funds and my budget is tight right now." That gives them an opening to argue, "Oh, just this once won't hurt." You simply say, "No, it's not a priority for me right now." Or simply, "No, thank you." Silence is power. The actor does not justify his actions to the audience the actor performs. Rule number 2, audit your circle. They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at your 5 closest friends. Are they reactors? Are they consumers? Are they constantly broke and stressed? If they are, you are fighting a losing battle. You are swimming upstream. You need to find new peers. You need to listen to people who are playing the game at a higher level. This might mean spending more time alone. Good. Solitude is the price of greatness. In solitude, you build. In the crowd, you consume. Their comfort is not your responsibility. Let them react. You will act. I want you to think about the word cheap. Your friends use it as an insult. You're so cheap. Wear that word like armor. Cheap is what broke people call efficient. Cheap is what broke people call disciplined. When Warren Buffett drives an old car and eats a $3 breakfast, is he cheap? No, he is focused. He allocates capital to where it grows, not where it shows. When you refuse to waste money on status symbols, you are not being cheap. You are being lethal. You are preserving your ammunition for the things that matter, assets. The goal of the actor is to contain the ego. The ego wants to look rich. The actor wants to be rich. Every time you seek validation, you feed the ego and starve the bank account. We are going to reverse that. We are going to starve the ego and feed the bank account. It's not about your flaws, it's about your discipline, specifically the discipline of not caring. This is the hardest step for many of you. We are social animals. We want to belong. But you must ask yourself, do I want to belong to the class of people who work until they are 75 and retire on a pittance? Or do I want to belong to the class of free men and women? If you want to be free, you have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to let them talk behind your back. Let them whisper, let them judge. 5 years from now, when they are still complaining about the economy and you are closing on your second rental property, the whispering will stop and it will be replaced by a new question. They will ask, "How did you do it?" But you cannot help them then if you join them now. Their comfort is not your responsibility. You are not seeking their validation, you are seeking your mastery. Stand your ground. When the pressure comes, it will touch your constitution, step 1, in your mind. Remember the machine you built, step 3. Look at the scoreboard, step 5. Those are your friends. Those are your allies. The opinions of others are just noise, and we do not react to noise. You have built the walls of your fortress. You have secured the perimeter against the enemy outside, but there is one enemy left. The most persistent enemy of all, the enemy that lives in the split second between a thought and an action. The enemy that attacks you on a quiet Tuesday afternoon when you are alone. The impulse. We need to talk about the lag. We need to talk about the mechanics of daily self-control. Chapter 9. Starve your reactions. Feed your actions. You have the Constitution. You have the system, you have the audit. You have built a fortress around your financial life. But a fortress is useless if the gatekeeper is asleep. The enemy we face in this chapter is not the stock market. It is not inflation. It is not your friends. The enemy is the impulse. It is the split-second urge that hits you at 10 p.m. on a Friday. The urge to buy the gadget you saw on Instagram. The urge to order the takeout you don't need. The urge to sell the stock because you saw a scary headline. The urge to say yes to a vacation you can't afford. The impulse is fast. It is chemical. It is a spike of dopamine that screams, "Do it now." And if you obey the impulse, you are a slave. You are a reactor. To win, you must master the art of lag. What is the lag? It is the space between the stimulus and the response. In the wild, you need to be fast. If you see a snake, you jump. That is a survival reaction. In finance, speed is death. If you see a sale and you jump, you lose money. The reaction is instant. The action is intentional. You must create space between the impulse and the decision. Starve the impulse. Feed the action. Most people have zero lag. They see it, they buy it, they feel it, they say it. They are raw nerves, twitching at every stimulation. The actor inserts a pause. The actor creates a gap. In that gap, the emotion dies, and logic is born. We are going to implement 3 specific lags into your life. These are the tactical brakes you will use to stop the car before it drives off the cliff. Tactic number 1, the 24-hour purchase rule. This is mandatory. From this moment on, you are forbidden from buying anything over $50 or whatever limit you set in your constitution on the same day you see it. I don't care if it is a limited time offer. I don't care if it is the last one in stock. If it is not a medical emergency or food for survival, you must wait 24 hours. Here's what happens during those 24 hours. In the first hour, you will feel an itch. You will feel deprivation. Your brain is throwing a tantrum because you denied it the dopamine hit of the purchase. But then, something magical happens. You go to sleep, you wake up, the chemicals in your brain reset, and when you look at that item the next day, the glow is gone. You see it for what it is, just another thing you don't need. 90% of the time, you will not buy it. You have saved that money simply by doing nothing. Starve the impulse. Feed the action. If you still want it after 24 hours and the logic holds up and it fits your constitutio, then buy it. That is an action. But buying it in the first 5 minutes is a reaction. And we do not react. Tactic number 2, the communication lag. How many times have you agreed to something, a dinner, a trip, a subscription, because you felt social pressure in the moment? Someone asks, "Hey, we're going to Vegas next month. You in?" You don't want to be the wet blanket. You want to be liked. So you react. "Yeah, sure." Then, 2 hours later, you look at your bank account and realize you made a terrible mistake. But now, you are committed. You need a script to create lag. Here is the script. Memorize it. When someone asks you to commit time or money, you say, "I need to check my calendar and my plan. I'll get back to you tomorrow." That's it. You didn't say no. You didn't have to be rude. You bought yourself time. Now you can go home. You can look at your constitution, you can look at the scoreboard, and you can send a text the next day. "Hey, checked my plan. I can't make it work this time. Have fun." It is infinitely easier to say no via text after 24 hours than it is to say no to someone's face in the moment. The reaction is instant. The action is intentional. You must create space. Tactic number 3, the information lag. We live in an attention economy. The news cycle is designed to make you panic every hour. If you check your portfolio every day, you are exposing yourself to 365 opportunities to make a mistake. If you check financial news every hour, you are bathing your brain in cortisol. You must disconnect. Delete the trading apps from your phone. Make it hard to log in. Block the news sites that use clickbait headlines. The actor operates on signal, not noise. The signal moves slowly. Trends take months to develop. Noise happens every second. If you react to the second, you lose. If you act on the trend, you win. It's not about your flaws. It's about your discipline. You have to understand the biology of the impulse. An impulse is like a wave. It rises, it peaks, and then it crashes. If you try to fight the wave when it is at its peak, you will drown. You just have to wait for it to crash. The urge to spend is temporary. The regret of being broke is permanent. When you feel the urge rising, when you are stressed and you want to retail therapy your way to happiness, stop. Visualize the wave. Say to yourself, I am starving this reaction. Do not feed it. Do not open the app. Do not walk into the store. Wait. 10 minutes, 1 hour, 1 day. The wave will pass, and you will still have your money. The reaction is instant. The action is intentional. You must create space between the impulse and the decision. Starve the impulse. Feed the action. Every time you successfully use the lag, you get stronger. Willpower is like a muscle. The first time you say no to yourself, it hurts. It feels impossible. The 100th time, it is easy. It is automatic. You start to take pride in your refusal. You start to feel powerful when you walk past a store and buy nothing. You look at the consumers rushing around, swiping their cards, frantically obeying their impulses, and you feel pity. You are not like them. You are in control. This is the daily grind. This is the trench warfare of wealth. The system, Chapter 5, handles the big stuff. The lag handles the small stuff, and the small stuff adds up. 1,000 small no's equals $1 million in the bank. You have a choice. You can be a leaf in the wind, blown around by every advertisement and every urge, or you can be a rock, unmoved, unshaken. The rock accumulates mass. The leaf simply rots. Starve the impulse. Feed the action. We are almost at the end of the line. We have covered the mindset, the constitution, the system, the volatility, the scoreboard, the social pressure, and the daily impulse. You have all the tools, but there is one final shift that needs to happen. It is the shift in how you view your entire existence. Right now, you might still feel like you are following a set of rules. You are doing the program. That is not enough. You must become the program. You must stop renting your life and start owning it. We need to talk about the difference between the tenant and the architect. Chapter 10. You are the architect, not the tenant. We have arrived at the end of the road. You have learned the mechanics. You know about the Constitution. You understand the system. You have learned to ignore the noise of the crowd and the noise in your own head. But all of these things, the rules, the accounts, the tactics, are just tools. A hammer is useless without a builder. A blueprint is useless without a builder. The final question of this book is not, what will you do? The final question is, who are you? In this life, there are only two positions you can occupy. You are either the tenant or the architect. Most people live their entire lives as tenants. Think about what a tenant does. A tenant lives in a building owned by someone else. A tenant complains when the rent goes up. A tenant calls the landlord when the pipes break. A tenant feels helpless when the rules change. A tenant is a guest in their own life. The tenant mindset is the ultimate form of reaction. My boss won't pay me enough. Reaction. The government raised taxes. Reaction. The economy is bad. Reaction. I can't get ahead because the system is rigged. Reaction. The tenant believes that external forces determine their financial destiny. They are waiting for a good landlord, a good president, a good boss, a stroke of luck to come and save them, I have news for you. No one is coming to save you. The landlord does not care about you. The market does not care about you. If you live like a tenant, you will die waiting for permission to be wealthy. The tenant reacts, the architect acts. Stop living like a tenant in your own life. You are the architect. Now, go build. The architect is different. The architect does not complain about the building. The architect designs the building. If the rent is too high, the architect buys the building. If the pipes break, the architect builds a better plumbing system. If the economy crashes, the architect reinforces the foundation. When you adopt the architect mindset, you stop blaming and you start owning. This is the terrifying part of freedom: total responsibility. If you are broke, it is not the economy's fault. It is your fault. You designed a fragile financial structure. If you are stressed, it is not your job's fault. It is your fault. You designed a life that requires 100% of your time to survive. The tenant says, "It's not fair." The architect says, "It is my design, and I can change it." You have a choice. You can spend the rest of your life pointing fingers at the circumstances that hold you back, or you can pick up the pen and redraw the blueprints. Look back at what we have built together in this book. Chapter 1. We killed the reactor. Chapter 3. We wrote the Constitution, the blueprint. Chapter 5. We engineered the system, the machine. Chapter 6. We weaponized volatility, the defense. Do you see? These are not random tips. These are the components of a fortress. You are building a financial fortress that is impenetrable to fear, greed, and poverty. You are no longer exposed to the elements. You are safe inside the structure you created. It's not about your flaws. It's about your discipline. The transition from tenant to architect is a spiritual shift. It means you stop asking for permission. Tenants ask, "Can I afford this?" Architects ask, "How do I create the income to afford this?" Tenants look at the rich with envy and say, "Must be nice." Architects look at the rich with curiosity and say, "Show me the blueprints." You must understand that money is not a mystery. Money is a structure. It follows the laws of physics: input, output, leverage, compound interest. If you respect the laws of physics, the building stands. If you ignore them, the building collapses. Your feelings about gravity do not matter. Gravity just is. Your feelings about money do not matter. Math just is. The architect respects the math. The tenant ignores the math and hopes for a miracle. The tenant reacts, the architect acts. I want you to visualize your future 5 years from now. If you continue as a tenant, reacting, spending, complaining, where will you be? You will be in the same place, just 5 years older, 5 years more tired, and 5 years more bitter. The rent will be higher, and your excuses will be weaker. Now visualize the architect. 5 years from now, the system has been running for 60 months. The compound interest has started to curve upward. The debt is gone. The emergency fund is full. You walk into a room and you carry yourself differently. You are not desperate. You are not needy. You are solid. You own your time. You own your choices. That is the prize. It is not about the Ferraris. It is not about the mansions. It is about sovereignty. The architect answers to no one but the blueprint. The tenant reacts. The architect acts. Stop living like a tenant in your own life. You are the architect. Now, go build. This book was your wake-up call, but a wake-up call is annoying if you just hit snooze and go back to sleep. Do not go back to sleep. Do not return to the coma of consumption. You have the tools. You have the plan. The only variable left is your will. Are you going to build, or are you going to watch others build? The world is full of critics. The world is full of tenants screaming from the windows. Ignore them. Pick up your hammer. Lay the first brick. We are done with the theory. We are done with the coaching. There is only one thing left to do. I told you at the beginning that I would give you a challenge. I told you there was a specific protocol you needed to execute immediately. This is the separation point. The tenants will turn off the audiobook now. They will feel inspired for 10 minutes, then go back to scrolling through social media. The architects are still listening. The architects are ready to work. If you are still here, you are ready. You want the final instruction? You want to know exactly how to start step 1 in the next 60 seconds? You have reached the end of the audio. But let's be honest, this is not the end. This is the starting line. Most people will close this video, feel good for 10 minutes, and then go back to their lives. They will go back to being reactors. They will go back to being tenants. If you do that, you have wasted your time. Before I give you the final command, look at what you now possess. You have the complete blueprint. You destroyed the delusion that your feelings matter in finance. You learned that reaction is poverty. You forged your financial constitution, the laws that override your emotions. You adopted the producer's mindset, shifting from eating value to creating value. You engineered the system to automate your wealth so you don't need willpower. You weaponized volatility, learning to buy when others bleed. You established the scoreboard, trusting the net worth number over your fragile ego. The knowledge is locked in. Now execution must follow. I promised you a challenge at the start of this book. I promised you the Architect's Protocol. This is the test. This is how you prove you are part of the 1%. Do not close this video. You are going to take 60 seconds. Right now, not tomorrow. Now. Step 1, open your phone's calendar app. Step 2, go to the first day of next month. Step 3, create an event called The Audit. Set it to repeat every single month forever. Step 4, in the notes of that event, write this question: did I act or did I react? Do it. I'll wait. If you didn't do it, you are still a tenant. If you did, you just laid the first brick of your empire. Now, a warning. The biggest threat to your new system is procrastination. You have the plan, but your brain will try to delay the execution. It will tell you to start on Monday. To secure your victory, you need to master the art of immediate momentum. That is why your next step is non-negotiable. You need to listen to the audiobook on this channel titled The 5-Minute Rule: How to Beat Procrastination and Initiate Action Immediately. It is the perfect companion to what you just learned. This book gave you the strategy. The 5-minute rule gives you the speed. Go there next. Do not let the momentum die. Finally, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done it yet, do it now. This channel is not for entertainment. It is a library for the architects of the future. If you want to build, you stay here. You have the blueprint, you have the protocol. The talking is over. The building begins. Go!